friend of mine who's a highly successful businessman in America was over in the House of Commons, and he said to me that if he was a younger man...
Is that Bill Gates you're talking about?
No, not Bill Gates, no, a guy called Jerry Dowd, highly successful businessman, and Jerry said to me that if he was a younger man, he would move to China because of the enormous opportunities over there. I was just wondering, do you ever think there's going to be a time within the next 10 years, 20 years, or next generation where businessmen will say that about Africa?
Yeah, I think so, because I think it's got great potential and it's a great opportunity. You know, we are not just talking about Africa today, although much of the discussion has been about that. So does India. So do many other countries that are classified as emerging markets have huge potential. But it's actually in the interrelationship between the countries of the world that I think you're going to find the greatest dynamic for growth. I mean, China depends on exporting to the rest of the world. America has announced that its future lies in doubling its numbers of exports. Each continent is actually so interdependent now with the other that any strategies for growth will depend on, that are successful, will depend on countries and continents working together. And that's why protectionism is such a danger. So I would actually say that, you know, Ngozi, who's the managing director of the World Bank, addressed a meeting a few months ago and said which country has had higher rates of growth, which continent, which part of a continent has had higher rates of growth than Asia, which is now a $1 trillion economy, and which has moved forward faster than Brazil and I think Russia in the last few years. And of course the answer was sub-Saharan Africa, which actually is a $1 trillion economy. Africa itself is $1.5 trillion economy. Now, it's Britain's about a $2 trillion economy, so you know, Africa as a whole, with 1 billion people, is unfortunately still a very small part of the world economy, but it is not an insignificant part of the world economy now, and therefore the business of it, obviously quite a few people have found that to develop mobile phones in Africa has been a very successful business because there are now, 40% of Africans, was it 300 or 400 million with mobile phones.